Hey everyone, welcome to the program WRSA Radio. I am your host, Grenadier One. Hope you all had a good week. I've been on vacation this week, so it's been pretty good, although it didn't feel like it because I had some work things that I still had to do. That's kind of sucks, but sometimes that's how you have to do things. So for a couple of days, I was still, sort of chained to the old desk there. Anyway, being on vacation, I've not really been putting a whole lot of focus or attention on the goings on of the country this week, but nothing major is happening, and I say that with some measure of sarcasm because yes, we are in probably the most major historical happening since the fall of the Roman Empire, but I think you kind of catch my meaning there. It's more of the same. There are some highlights as we see the courts continue to halt and push back the vax mandates. That's a good thing, of course, but it's temporary at least, and until it hits the higher courts, we don't know what the total fallout of that's going to be. But it's a reason to be optimistic, I guess. We had the big storm go through the central U.S. and do a lot of damage, killing many people and injuring even more. Of course, our thoughts go out to those families and all those who may have lost loved ones. The Maxwell trial is still going on, and we're getting little details coming out, but nothing we really have not heard already at this point. I'm sure as that trial progresses, we'll hear some more. I probably scandalous kind of details. I don't know if there'll be sort of bombshells that come out of that, but who knows? Who knows? It just depends on what they're going to allow to leak out. The UK courts issued a ruling in the Julian Assange case that puts him one step closer to being extradited to the US. And we found out from his father that he had been forcefully jabbed against his will, and was not doing well from that. Apparently, he's had some problems, some health fallout from that. So, I don't know what to say about that. It's horrendous what they've done to that man. More things like that taking place. Just unfortunately the normal course of things these days as we shuffle through Clown World. And with all that said, I was trying to decide what I would cover on the show today. It's that time of the year again where we typically are spending time with our families and we're being introspective and retrospective of the past, looking back on our lives and remembering holidays past and maybe those we've lost. Folks who are having a hard time this year, this time of year, it's a seasonal thing for a lot of people. I did a whole show about this last year for Christmas, and so I don't want to get, repetitive about it, but I do think it's important to think about those folks who struggle this time of year. I do plan on doing a show next week, but it may not be a very long one. We'll see how the week goes and what things look like for topics. So, but maybe I'll just do something that's sort of more uplifting and more happy, not so mellow and dark, I guess, because I think people need that this time of year. I had a sit down with Concerned American this week, and we were discussing some things about what we were planning for next year. I'll leave those things for a later show. Again, I got a couple more for the year, but I'll give you some heads up that we're looking local, starting small to set the stages for something that could potentially grow bigger. And people for their New Year's resolutions usually make some promise or plan to get more healthy. So we're going to do the same thing, and we'll be looking to do something like some small group ruck marches or something like that. We'll give some details right after the first of the year. But I was very inspired by the Patriot Front guys and their workout videos, I guess you would call them, or their training videos. And I thought, why can't we do something like that? So that's kind of the first stages, and we'll like I said, we'll give you more details about that as time goes on. Now, the main meat of the show today is something also from that same conversation. CA and I were discussing what we thought the coming year was going to look like, and what the following year is going to look like. That sort of 6 month, 1 year, year and a half, that kind of outlook. What the elite might be pressed into doing based off of the events that could unfold in the next 12 months. They don't, as much as people like to say, they don't have control of everything. They have to react sometimes, just like we do. So we were talking about that. We were discussing this, and I said something to the effect of, it's like the whole world is lost in the woods and we're looking for a way out. And CA said, that's a fantastic analogy. And I kind of thought a little bit more about it, and I got into it a little bit more. And I said, yeah, we have these people trying to lead us down this dark and treacherous path. And we have a lot of people who are just sticking their fingers in their ears and sitting down on the path, refusing to go anywhere at all. And we continue to talk about those people sitting and refusing to move, who they were, what behavior they were demonstrating, and so on and so forth. And we talked about how it's imperative that we consider these people. It is imperative that we get them moving and motivate them to go on for a lot of different reasons. And, I think as we face the coming 1, 2, and 3 years, we're going to be facing ever-growing numbers of people who are going to fall into this status or this condition. They're going to be people who will simply not acknowledge the reality of the situation, and they'll break. They'll just break with reality and disengage, or they'll just give up and allow the tide to take them. And the cynical among us, of course, will say, something to the effect of, "Well, screw them. They're too lazy or stupid to see what's going on, and then we can't save them." And there's truth to that. I don't deny that, and it's very easy to be dismissive if it's people we do not know, people we don't care about. It's a far different thing if it's people we do know, and even more relevant if it's people we love and care about very much. As I mentioned many times before, we're not all in the same place along this path. And I think we all have people that we know and love who are not in the same place we are and not seeing everything as we see it. And the upside to all of this mess is that it is opening more and more of their eyes, but we're still going to be faced with plenty of people who are just not going to see it. They're going to refuse to acknowledge it. And this is why CA is always posting over on the mothership the reminders that no one is coming to save us. The Graham's Kill House rules, those things, the Stockdale quote, those bits and pieces serve as a reminder of where you're going to find yourself mentally. So this episode today is kind of a repost of something like that, kind of my version of those quotes, because we're it. We are the only ones that can not only keep others motivated, focused, and moving, but we're the only ones who can keep ourselves motivated and moving forwards. I've spoken about working with others and getting them on track and so forth, so I'm not going to keep harping on that at this point. What I want to do is really steer us on that last point, motivating ourselves to keep moving and going. I think I've told the story before of taking my son on a very long bike ride for his bicycle merit badge or cycling merit badge in the Boy Scouts. Fantastic trip, but really, really physically demanding to sit on that bicycle for, I think it was a 50-mile ride. We ride through this vast wildlife management area that has this old railroad running through it, and they've converted it into a bike trail, Rails to Trails program. And we're miles out in the woods on this trail, and he hits the mental wall. So here I am, I'm hurting, and I have to get him back on his bike and get him moving forward again. And I got to do the same for myself. I have to make sure that I don't break down and use this as an excuse for myself giving up. I had to sit there and say, look, buddy, nobody's coming out here to help us. We have to get ourselves out. Either we're pushing our bikes out or we're riding them out. So which one do you want to do? Which one do you think is going to be easier to do? And I had to break the trail down into landmarks and say, we just got to get to this next landmark. We just got to get to this next thing. And that's how I had to push him and drive him on forward. And this is such an important point, an important topic that even though I don't want to be repetitive in my show, I can't help but reiterating this one over and over a few times. Just like Pete reposts those mastheads and things on his page. I think it's just that important to talk about. There may come a time when someone very close to you is hitting that mental wall. They may be in that, in the middle of some physical effort that is just draining them, and they just stop and profess that they can't go on any further. It may disintegrate into something greater than just the immediate situation. They may just say, I give up. I can't do any of this anymore. And they're not talking about just the task at hand. They're talking about everything. They want to just stop and go back to normal, to go back to the way things were, to go back to when they were happy and when they didn't know any of these things that they know now. That is the danger of becoming awake. Is once you see things, you can't unsee them. You can't go back. It's going to fall upon you to help them. It will be of the utmost importance that you do not give in to their despair. Do not allow their mental wall to become your mental wall. You have to be able to resist that, or you're lost as well. It's going to be so tempting and so easy to do that, but you have to clear your mind and steel yourself. Now, for me, in those times when I think about just giving in and going under, I remind myself of what happens if I give in to this. It means they win, bottom line. It means that they get their way and they succeed. It means that our form of civilization comes to an end. Hell, it means that our bloodlines come to an end. And all those things just really make me angry. They really piss me off. And I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be so existentially pissed, I resent those who did that to me or who are doing this to me. And my desire for right over wrong drives me to reject that outcome. I can't let this happen if I have any chance of doing something about it. Now that works for me. It gets me back on task, or at least back focused on things. And it pulls me out of that, spiral of shutdown. I can't say it's going to work for you. I can't say that it will work for the ones that you love. Maybe you need something else to motivate you. And I encourage you to find what that is. I want you to look around today and think about your life and what you live it for. What keeps you going every day? And what is it that makes you resist these efforts? Why are you mentally where you are today? Why is it that you look at all of these things going on, all of the happenings in the world, and you say, no, I can't accept that. I can't take that. It's you have to find this thing for yourself. You have to figure that out. And I encourage you to go do those kinds of things that are physically challenging or mentally challenging, to put yourself in that situation, to find what it is that's going to push you through that challenge. If you've never done those things, or if it's even been a very long time since you've done those kinds of things, I think you need to go out and do something like that again. Again, I've talked about all of these things before, but I think it's important. All of these things that they are doing to us are done intentionally to drive us all to that wall. It's a metaphorical wall, but it's just as deadly as the physical ones that these commies love to put people in front of. It's a wall, nonetheless. They want you all questioning your life and questioning that resistance. They want you all to give in and knuckle under. All of this insanity is by design. It's all meant to disconnect you from reality and to demoralize you and push you to that wall. Why do I keep resisting this? Isn't it just easier just to give up? Just to ignore what's going on politically and pay more attention to the bread and circuses. That's what they want. That's what they're trying to get from you. You know these things. I don't think I'm telling you anything new. Like I said, I've said these things before. I just believe that it is important to mention them every once in a while, to kind of refocus things and reiterate the challenges that we're facing. All right, guys, that's the main thing today. I just felt like this was something that we should hit on again. Like I said, this is a really important thing that we have to help each other out with. We have to be more supportive of one another. I see these, I can't call them anything other than fights. I mean, that probably isn't the right word for it, but these little kerfluffles, these things that break out on Gab or some other social media site, where people who are supposedly on our side are attacking other people that are supposedly on our side or are on our side, whatever our side is, and they're doing the work of the bad guys. And that's just what it boils down to. If you want to step into a place where people are conversing and sharing information and sharing ideas and sharing that sort of communal view of rejecting where we are today, if you want to step into that and take a dump in the pool, that's a pretty crappy thing to do, and you really have to question the motivations of people who do things like that. It's something that I think that we have to get past. We have to stop eating our own and hating on our own. So we need to be more supportive of each other. Now, if you're watching the video, you may have noticed that I kind of deviated from my normal pattern of showing, photos or articles, screenshots, those things, whatnot. For this video, I'm taking a page from our friend, the late Old Remus. I'm showing shots of American landscape painters. I thought that I would switch it up, a bit and do this as a way of reminding us of a lost friend and a guy that many of us look forward to reading and miss his take on things very much. Another one of our departed brothers. If you know somebody out there who suffers this time of year during the holidays with depression or some other kind of ailment, reach out to them. We need all the help we can get. We need all the people that we can on our side. And not to mention, it's the good thing to do, We got to watch out for each other, because these people that we're facing, they want us dead. They're not watching out for us at all. We're the only things that we've got. Well, folks, that's all that I got time for today. Like and subscribe. Come see us over on Gab and the Mothership, and I will see you on the next episode.